when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky.
Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7 and 8.
What's going on, Juco?
Behold, he cometh with the clouds, and in every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty.
Yeah. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die.
It brings tears to my eyes to watch my people suffer. Then I sit back and watch all these other nations bubble. Then I reflect on Deuteronomy 28 curses. It's apparent why Israel got lacking hearses. I've been witnessing so much hurt and pain through the lens of these eyes. I'm out to convince that somehow I've been desensitized. I'm just praying for the day that he cracked that sky on that cloud with that sword to destroy this world with fire. Yeah, they all gon' die. They all gon' die. In that day, they all gon' cry. They all gon' cry. Yeah, plus they all gon' lie. Trying to die, but they can't. Why the Messiah going hard on their ass like LeBron in the paint? Those who led into captivity shall also go. And those of us who at the bottom won't have the mud no more. Will be the tail no more. I feel the shell no more. Cause those of us that kept commandments, yeah, we all gon' go. Yeah, it's all gon' show who really love the Lord. Because those of us that endure to the end will get a just reward. Yeah, it's a just reward for them to die by the sword. For the inhumane treatment of the people that the Most High adore. Yeah,
Crack that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die. When he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, when he cracked that sky, yeah, they all gon' die.
Buddha, Buddha, I'm all rise again. The house of Israel. When he come back, I'm gonna rise again. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but it come through in the clutch. Just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on the solid ground. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but it come through in the clutch. Just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on that solid ground. Look at me now, bro. I've been through so much, but I found back like rubber bands and such. No more dope for me. Everything that set me free. I'm on the natural high, like birds in the highest tree. I was bought with blood, the rest of red blood. I don't need my book, it's gone. I got my own plug, it keep me full supplied. I'm talking at all times. I just open a shoot and we in line for line. Precept up on precept, that's how I read the book. It's totally addictive, cause I was instantly hooked. I was instantly strong. It's like a two-way sword that cuts going to and from that can't be ignored. Music to my ears, water to my soul, and which you wash with tears. No more sin for me, no more hurt and pain. And if I die to him, that means I die again. Then I'm gonna rise again to stand up with my cane. Your cane, I'm talking about the king of kings. I ain't much, yo, but I'm blessed though. I've been through so much, but it came through in the clutch. Just to pick me up and to hold me down. Put my feet back on this this solid ground. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but he come through in the clutch, just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on that solid ground.
I'm posted up like a light pole, sucking knowledge like a light bulb. Faith and return to Christ. So when he comes, they don't know where I'm gonna go. Hey, remember coming to America, bro. Sit back and watch my soul glow. All praise out of die to see, and every day I'm trying to run and do it all again. So when your high return for the house of Israel, yeah, all praise to the Most High. Know that my soul gonna rise again.
I ain't much, yo, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but he come through in the clutch, just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on the solid ground. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much.
Sick of y'all fake Jews, Amalek. We know who you are. We know who you are. We know who you are. Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I am loved thee. Yeah, right. We Israel and that's it. We don't need no cosigner. We authentic, y'all counterfeit, like Dollar General Pantaline. We wear Afro and not no small hats. And I nut swing like them all bags. Judas Maccabees with an ass jaw. Now the trunks on our sound off. Busting a spiritual sawed off. Ready to book out, you get hauled off. Keep that pork, my dig. We don't need no hog mouth. Keep that pork, my dig. We don't need no hog mouth. Revelation 3 and 9. Heard about y'all synagogue. Heard about y'all reputation. All y'all do is steal and rob. All y'all do is mass murder. All y'all do is kill shit. Cat out of bed when you're Amalek. Been declared to the enemy. Yeah. You can make me with an ass on. Yeah. You can make me with an ass on. Yeah. You can make me with an ass on. You can make me with an ass on. Full tribe, baby. One of my kills a day. Full tribe. Israel in the house. Yeah. Yeah. You remember me, baby. In the face. Bring the heat. Yes, sir. One of my kills a day.
Shalom, 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 family. When he cracked that sky, it's going down. All praises to the Most High, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. We thank our Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, who came and died and rose again for the house of Israel. It's a blessing and a privilege to come before you once again, family, with another banger, protecting the holy seed. Protecting the holy seed. Family, we got a lot of information coming out of the scripts. We got a lot of information coming out of their books today. We're going to bring this thing out, hopefully through the blessing of the Most High. He will be glorified, magnified, and we will be edified. Hallelujah. It's a few things I want to bring out. I want to start out with a video. Y'all bear with Brother Stephen just for 1 minute. Bear with Brother Stephen for 1 minute. I'm going to try to pull this video up.
The way I think of that is that women have been asked to carry a great load. Black women shoulder a lot of the burden, in short, of Black men's struggles. And I am asking women to put the burden down. Many women think that they're attracted to Black men. They are attracted to Black men, but attraction itself is complicated. And one of the things that I discovered in the course of writing this book is that there's a whole host of fears and desires and anxieties that animate Black women's attraction to Black men.
Okay, Banks recently wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal and said that 70% of Black women aren't married. That's roughly true. Okay, so is it time for single, educated, and working Black women to just forget the notion of marrying a Black man and look outside their race? A new Gallup poll shows more and more people are receptive to the idea of interracial marriage. In 1968, the numbers were quite low for whites approving of interracial marriage. This is a Gallup poll from USA Today, but today those numbers skyrocketed for both Blacks and whites. So does the author have a point? Is the Black marriage nearly obsolete? Is the idea just for white people? Have a Black couple here who says, hello, I'm right here. Joining us more to talk about this is Lamar and Ronnie Tyler, bloggers for Black and Married with Kids. All right, Tyler, so I guess my first question is, what is your reaction to what you have just heard? A lot of people have been talking about this.
I just think the book is dangerous and it's sending a dangerous message.
Dangerous.
Fair use,
Yes,
fair
I
use.
I definitely
Fair
think
use.
it is just perpetuating all of the negative stereotypes that are out there.
Mhm.
And now is the time for Black people to come together and to work together, not to look outside of our community for the answers.
Dangerous, how so? And I want you to answer this because he seems to be putting a lot of negativity out there on Black men.
Sure. Well, I think what he's done is created a perfect mechanism to sell books, but not so much to help African-American women.
All right.
And I think, that's he's portraying this like this is some type of help tool for them, but not at all. I think anytime when you say that one entire group of people, specifically based on race, is bad and another group is good, then it doesn't make any sense at all. It's not helping anybody. Instead, the conversation should be, if there are problems in the African-American community, how can we uplift the community? What can we do to show them that marriage is positive, to show them that parenting is positive and where it's at? Instead of, making notions like these that basically just get you on TV, in the media all the time and allow you to sell books.
Well, because some of the numbers that he put out there are true. A white woman is twice as likely to get married as a Black woman. Some of what he is saying is true, is what you take exception to, what you say are solutions that aren't actually solutions. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Solutions that are not actually solutions. So if it's true, let's get down to why it's true and bring forth real solutions for the Black community.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think interracial dating is fine. I think who you fall in love with is who you fall in love with. But again, when you say this group of people in this particular instance, which is Black men, are bad and you shouldn't be with them. And I think the craziest thing about all of this is the fact that he's married to a Black woman. So what if she took his own advice? They wouldn't be married now.
So what you're saying is, okay, let me make sure I'm clear. He's saying, look outside of your race because there's a problem with your race, as opposed to just be with whoever you choose to be with, regardless of what their race is. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's this two-part thing.
Okay.
Part of it is that, and part of it is this thing about the Black man being so bad, just perpetuating these continual stereotypes that we've had now for generations and generations. And the problem becomes when you have people in communities that don't see marriage every day, that don't see those positive images of marriage portrayed, they start to believe things like this. When they see books and they see movies and they see different things, something that marriage is for white people, they start to actually get that into their conscious, and then that passes down from generation to generation.
Because there are plenty of positive images of Black marriages out there. I mean, we've got the Obamas. I mean,
Exactly.
There's Will and Jada. If you don't believe all that tabloid mess is out there,
Right.
An interracial couple. There's Iman and David Oye. There's lots of positive images out there if you choose to see them.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're doing with our website, trying to actually build upon those positive images, because if you don't see it, then maybe you don't think it's possible to be that. And so it's very important to have those images.
Yeah, and it's just an example. We do documentaries. In our second documentary, You Saved Me, 8 couples, African-American couples from newlywed over 50 years. We premiered it in DC, sold out over 540 seats in advance of the screening. They had to put up folding chairs down the aisle, like to say, like church on Easter Sunday. And these people, we're not Spike Lee and Tanya Lewis Lee. They didn't know us by name recognition, but that's how hungry in our community we are for positive.
Listen, there's a good chance somebody's trying to hack your website right now. You gotta make sure you're covered. I'm talking about enterprise-grade security built into your site and fully managed for you. Check this out. First up,
All right, shalom, Hebrew. So there's a book.
Shalom. Shalom.
There's
Hebrew.
a book that a Hebrew man put out about Black women shouldn't marry Black men. This a Hebrew Israelite male that's pushing a narrative that Black women shouldn't marry Black men because we are pieces of crap. We are no good for marriage.
Don't call him no Hebrew Israelite, man. Call him a Black man. Shit, call him a coon. He married to a white woman.
Hey,
Call him that.
A Negro.
Yeah, a Negro. I told you. I keep on saying it again to stick in their brain. The Negro is a phenomenon. Y'all gonna learn, listen. Tell you gonna learn. Go ahead, Hebrew.
So this brother wrote a book, and it's getting a lot of traction. The brother said we are not worthy as Hebrew men to be married to our own women. That's what he pushing. Now, it's 331.9 million people in America, right?
Right.
331.9 million. 18% of our population, which is a very small, minute number amongst that 331.9 million, you might well say 32, is interracially married. 26% of the Hispanic community is interracially married. So what do they tell you? It's our people, the Black people, and the non-whites are the ones that's looking outside of their race to get married to white people. It's crazy. But if we look at the scriptures, the Most High commands us to do the complete opposite, Hebrew.
That's right. Can I
All
say
right.
something, Hebrew?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Brother Sly took the thought right out of my brain and he wrote it in the chat. 18%, but the large percentage of black women file for divorce. You know that, right?
Yeah, black women, 87% of marriages in the black community are filed by black women. 87%.
Why is that?
You tell me.
Can I say something, Hebrew? That's personal.
Bring it out.
I got one right now that's saying it.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. Cause see, when shit don't go your way and it get tough, and certain situations make you see what your character is. You go through when your marriages go through fire of adversity. You get what I'm saying? When the finances is jacked up, or one mate can work and the other can't, and one got to sit at home with the kids while the other working. I do this, and see when all of this started to come into the community, to your relationship, 9 times out of 10, that black man, he can take the pressure because he built for it. He's grinding for it. That's why some of these black women file for divorce, Hebrew. It gets tough. See, it was easier for her when they was out there on their own. They had assistants. They had you know how the single woman, black woman, had their stuff set up. You get what I'm saying, Hebrew?
Right.
But when they get it with a provider, when they got to get with a man, they got to take authority now. They got to take all of this. See, that weighs on them.
Submission.
Yeah, submission. Now, they get to thinking about how it used to be for them when they were single. And that's why they think it's better for them to be single, because I ain't got to submit. I ain't got to put up with this. I was doing better before I met you.
In their eyes.
In their eyes. That's right.
But
that's just where I'm coming from. That's my perspective.
Finances is one of the main reasons for divorce in America. Matter of fact, I think it's the #1 reason for divorce is finances. So it's not an isolated incident, Hebrew. When you in a marriage, it takes compromise. It takes understanding.
Mm-hmm.
It takes give and take. You're not going to always be right. You're not going to always be wrong. But you have to be able to admit that you're not right all the time. You have to be able to admit that the other person is not wrong all the time.
Right,
and
right.
You got a society. You got a society that goes off and just degrades the black man like that brother did in his book. But these type of men right here don't get any recognition. Hold on for a second, Hebrew.
All right. Yeah, that's just what I point out. That's my perspective because I'm living it. You know what I'm saying? So when Brother Sly put that in the chat, it's true because I'm seeing it in mine. I want a divorce. I want it every time. Something don't go their way, I want a divorce. I'm like, damn. Hey, we ain't been married a year, a good solid year. You want a divorce already? Damn, is it that bad? Yeah. Is it that bad? But see, when you don't have the fear of the Most High, because see, let me tell y'all sister something. Because I done see the Most High hit her in her throat many times. When you talk back to your husband and you disobedient to your husband, if that man is in line with the Most High and he's keeping the commandments, but you over there buck wilding, bucking, kicking against the prick, going against instructions, you ain't talking bad to him, cussing him out. You really talking to the Most High. You know that, sisters? Do you know that? Because when you went and took that covenant, it's the Most High, it's that man, then it's you, then it's the children. Do you understand what you're doing when you talk back and buck against your husband?
Hey, good brothers don't get recognition. You know what I'm saying? In this society. Yeah. And it stems from slavery. We got to go. See, we can't just look at the state that we in right now. we got to look at what caused us to be in this state, Hebrew. And the reason why we don't protect the holy seed. Because we have been torn down as black men in this country to be the lowest of the low. You got homeless white people and homeless Hispanic people and homeless Japanese, Chinese people, which is rarely seen, but they do exist. In this country, they looked at to be higher than a black man that work every day and take care of his family. Bro, we the lowest. In this society, a Hebrew Israelite man is the bottom lowest of the totem pole. We are less than nothing in this country. But see, brothers like this right here don't get recognition. Watch this.
There was a video out of Orlando, and you know we always seeing some crazy videos coming out of Florida. Well, this was in a Walmart parking lot. You had a woman, she had a child driving, and some reason this guy is going to get out of the car. He's pissed off, he's upset, so he's going to run up and approach a pregnant woman, which is the mom, and he's like he was going to hit this woman the way he was being extremely aggressive. And we know we've seen many of these videos how they will go and just stab black women, punch black women because they feel that they have no one to look out for them. But I want you to go ahead and watch this particular video.
Ooh. Look at that sister looking around for some help.
This girl big and pregnant. He's talking
but she
about,
a dog, a black
man
though. Watch this.
Get out of my face. Walking up on his face like that. Is she walking up on you? Exactly. You need to back the fuck up. You heard what the fuck I said? I said you need to back the fuck up. That's a woman. You're a mama. And you's a motherfucking man. Now what you gonna do? Go the fuck on. Go the fuck on. Go the fuck on. Put that gun away. Fuck you. Put that gun away, motherfucker. Go ahead. Go ahead. You just threatened me. Away. You just threatened me, motherfucker. Fuck you. Go to the store. Gun away. You're not a man. You ain't a man. I ain't used shit yet. Boy, put your motherfucking hands on me. I don't give a fuck who you call. You did this. You're the one that's aggressive to everybody. I don't care who you call. Call the cops. Call the cops. Yes,
I don't want to record all of it because I'm here for work
that's
today.
right. I'm a pregnant woman. You got our all in our face. We got this lady filming. Just walk away. He's got a gun, ma'am.
I've been recording every second, sir, since you got out the car.
Do your business. Get the fuck one out of here. Hey. Go ahead. I'm gonna take you. Thank you so much. Yes, I am.
You were about to hit a pregnant woman. I have it here on camera.
I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. I tell you what. I will break your motherfucking face. What? That's what I said.
Ooh.
That's
Let me get my
Put your
shit.
hands on. Go ahead. Put your hands on. Put your hands on. You got a gun. What? That's right. So what? You jumping on a pregnant woman. A gun at somebody is legal. I ain't pointed at nobody. You a lying motherfucker. I got it on film. Go ahead. You motherfucker. That's right. You motherfucker. Do it again. Do it again. Come on. You don't hit people. You don't try to hit me. What's wrong with you?
What? He done wrote a check that his ass could not cash.
Listen, call the cops. Call the cops.
Child, let me go and call the cops.
Fuck back here. Fuck back here. Fuck back here. Don't hit me, motherfucker. You hit him, crazy. What? Yes.
You hit him first. Look at this man. You hit him first. I'm about to leave ground beef and McCart and stuff, trying to be defending this pregnant lady. I've been recording since he got out of the car. Well, they love to call the police, but this white man about to jump on this damn pregnant girl. Hell no. She better than me because my pregnant ass would have fuck out his old ass.
All right, Hebrew. Now, you got brothers out here like this. You know what I'm saying? That'll stand up for our sisters. Don't know their sister from Eve.
Yeah.
But he was willing to stand up for this sister. But if he hadn't stepped in right there, did you see how that sister was looking around for somebody to help her, bro?
Yes, sir.
But, you know, they look to us to be their protectors, but they dog us so bad, bro. And the thing about it is, it's gotten so bad from the brainwashing from slavery all the way up through Jim Crow.
Left to I-40.
All the way up to where we at right now, to where they don't even want to protect the holy seed now. Our women don't even want to marry us no more. They don't want to even be in a relationship with a Hebrew man no more.
That's right.
Because of the brainwashing. And just like you shared a while ago, Hebrew, and when we do get in marriages and we do get in relationships, as soon as something don't go their way, they want to jump up and ask for a divorce. They want to jump up and run for the hills. She's a runner, she's a track star. But the Most High told us to protect his holy seed. All right. Let's get into this thing, Hebrew. Let's go to Ezra chapter 10.
All right, Hebrew. Let's go there. I'm still driving. I'm trying to get to the rest area, Hebrew, so I can get my book out.
Hebrew. We got.
So why you looking for that? Why you looking for that? Hold on, Hebrew. Hold on. I got. See this comment right here. See, that's not why domestic violence, infidelity, emotional abuse, molestation, extra families outside of the home, keep a balanced message, or do more unbiased research. Okay, I got to get it, Hebrew. Then when I spoke from my perspective, what I'm going through. I didn't put everybody, the whole black community in it. I said, from my perspective, what I'm going through. Did I say that, Hebrew?
That's what you said.
Now, why is this up here? You know why that's up there? You know why that's up there? Because they think we don't do the research, Hebrew. You don't think we know about violence, infidelity, emotional abuse, molestation? Oh, that's law breaking. Deuteronomy 28 said we were going to have broken homes. You silly numbnut. All right, Hebrew, just had to get that out the way. You know what I'm saying.
And I advise any feminist that come into this group right here, you really going to get your feelings hurt. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah, you do not want to be a feminist on this channel. You better find you another channel to go to.
You better find somebody to play with.
Chapter 10, verse 1. Ezra chapter 10 and verse 1. Now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of God, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children. For the people wept very sore. And Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our God, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet, now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Now therefore, let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives, and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God. and let it be done according to the law. Arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be thee, for of good courage, and do it. Then arose Ezra and made the chief priests, the Levites, and all Israel to swear that they should do according to this word, and they swear. Then Ezra rose up from before the house of God and went into the chamber of Jehohanan, the son of Elishub. And when he came thither, he did eat no bread nor drink water, for he mourned because of the transgressions of them that had been carried away. Where was they carried away to? They was carried away into captivity. And a lot of the interracial marriages, the interracial fornication, the interracial sex that was done during the biblical times was done in captivity. Just like we was just talking about just then. In this captivity is where it all started at. Because when our foreparents came over here, they had no desire to be with these other nations of men, with these other nations of women. Because slave men, slave owner men and slave owner women forced our people into sexual acts. They forced our people into having children. The women that owned slaves, you think they wasn't getting with them brothers back then when because they were naked. When they bought them, they stripped them down naked. They saw what they were working with. And then versus this heathen over here walking around here with the, I ain't got the right word. I don't want to be foul. But he over here with this little bitty thing, and then you got this Israelite man over here, and she seeing him naked. Which ones do you think she gonna choose? She was forcing them brothers into sexual acts. All right. And they made proclamation throughout Judah and Jerusalem unto all the children of the captivity, that they should gather themselves together unto Jerusalem. And that whosoever would not come within 3 days, according to the counsel of the princes and the elders, all his substance should be forfeited, and himself separated from the congregation of those that have been carried away. I got a book that I'm gonna bring out that's gonna testify to the scripture that we're reading right now. And it's one of their books. It's not our book. It's one of their books that's gonna testify to exactly what Ezra is saying right here in this chapter right here, in chapter 10. And Ezra the priest stood up and said unto them, ye have transgressed and have taken strange wives to increase the trespass of Israel. Now, when these Edomite men would get the slaves from the auction blocks, and they would bring our foremothers onto their plantations, and vice versa, they would bring our forefathers onto their plantations. They knew what type of skills they had. They knew what type of education they had. They knew everything that they was capable of because they put it in the manifest coming from the slave ships. They knew that they had builders, carpenters, brick masons, scientists, dentists, doctors. They knew who our ancestors were. All right. Now, therefore, make confession unto the Lord God of your fathers, and do this pleasure, and separate yourselves from the people of the land and from the strange wives. Then all the congregation answered and said with a loud voice, as thou hast said, so must we do. But the people are many, and it is a time of much rain, and we are not able to stand without. Neither is this a work of 1 day or 2. For we are many that have transgressed in this thing. What are they saying to Ezra? We've been in this captivity a long time. We've been mingling our seed amongst these strange women, these strange wives, for a long time. We got a lot of children and grandchildren by these women. It's not something that we can do overnight. This is going to take time. All right? Let now our rulers of all the congregation stand, and let all them which have taken strange wives in the city come at appointed times, and with them the elders of every city, and the judges thereof, until the fierce wrath of God for this matter be turned from us. Only Jonathan, the son of Asahel, and Jehaziah, the son of Tevar, were employed about this matter. And Meshullam and Shabbatai and the Levite helped them. And the children of the captivity did so, and Ezra the priest, with certain chief of the fathers after the house of their fathers, and all the men of their names, were separated and set down in the first day of the 10th month to examine the matter.
See,
and
you
they made
said
an end with all the men that had taken strange wives by the first day of the first month. And among the sons of the priests that were found that had taken strange wives, namely of the sons of Jehoiah, the son of Josadak, and his brethren Maaseiah, and Eleazar, and Jerel, and Geliah. And they gave their hands that they would put away their wives. And being guilty, they offered a ram of the flock for their trespass. And the sons of Immer, and Hananiah, and Zebediah. So all of these brothers obeyed the words of Ezra. Verse 44. All these had taken strange wives, and some of them had wives by whom they had children. So what Ezra was doing by the commandment of the Most High, he was bringing our people out of a sin that they had indulged in for an extended amount of time. Ezra was telling them, y'all know that we were commanded by God to not do the things that we are indulging in right now. And I'm going to show you where he pulled it from. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7.
All right, Hebrew, check this out. Now, you said something in 2nd Esdras 10, verse 14. You said, the scripture said, until the fierce wrath of our Yah for this matter be turned from us. So if the Most High was hot or upset then, how much more upset he is now with us, with these strange wives and strange children?
Yes, sir.
See, you see why the wrath is come down on us in America and throughout all this strange, throughout this captivity through the four corners of the earth, us taking on strange wives and having strange children. So y'all pay close attention to these scriptures we finna bring to you. We gonna show you how the Most High said he declared the end from the beginning. We gonna show you in the scriptures that not only the Levites are royal priesthood, that the whole house of Israel is priests unto the Most High. We're not supposed to be mingling our seed. Because if you go back and read Ezra chapter 9, verse 2, it says, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers have been chief in this trespass. So you see, brothers and sisters, what the key thing out of this? They have taken their daughters for themselves. And right here in verse 2, in chapter 9, it says, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. We got to protect the holy seed by all costs. Now, let's go, Stephen. Deuteronomy chapter 7. You still there, brother Stephen?
All right, Hebrew. You got anything else?
Bro, that was it. I would just let them know what to look for in this lesson, because we want to show them how the Most High separated it then, and he gonna separate it again from these strange wives and children. Okay, that's right. We just gonna show you how he declared the end from the beginning. We're gonna go through this thing very thoroughly with you. y'all so that you will understand. All right, Hebrew, you want me to go to Deuteronomy what? 7?
Deuteronomy 7, verse 1 through 7.
All right, let me get that, Hebrew. I just got part. Deuteronomy chapter 7. And what part you want me to start at? Verse 6?
Verse 1 through 7.
1 through 7. All right. All right.
This is where Ezra is pulling his information from, because the Most High gave us this commandment from the beginning, just like brother Mikael just brought out. Go ahead, Hebrew.
All right. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into a land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, let me read it again. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Okay, hold on, Hebrew. All right, so the Most High is making a distinction right here. He said, when you go into this land, this is our people coming out of captivity. Don't mingle your seed. Do not mingle your holy seed with these nations of people. Don't you take their daughters unto your sons. Don't you give your sons unto their daughters. Why? Because they're going to cause you to fall into idolatry. It's going to cause you to worship idol gods. It's going to cause you to fall out of favor with the Most High. And if you look at our people now, man. We the most homosexual. We black people is the most homosexual and lesbian people in the world. When homosexuality first started, it was the white folks. Now it's us.
Let me back you up with that, Hebrew. Let me back you up with that. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, they will tell thee. So reason I read that, the Most High told us in Deuteronomy 32:7, consider the generations of old. So here we are in Deuteronomy chapter 7, where the Most High is laying the law down. Don't marry these strange nations. Don't do it. So why did I read Deuteronomy 32:7? Consider the generation old. Look what Solomon did. Look how you go off marrying the strange nations. Okay, go ahead, Hebrew.
All right, go ahead with verse 4.
Verse 3, Hebrew. No, you're right, verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Like we read over there in Ezra chapter 9, verse 14. The wrath of the Most High gonna come down on you for marrying these strange wives and bringing these strange children in this world. Okay, let me keep going. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, but you were the fewest of all people.
Okay.
All right.
So the Most High just established right there. Do not mix your seed with these other people, because they're going to cause you to stop following me. And you are a holy people. You are a holy seed. I chose you above all other nations upon the face of the earth. Not because you were more in number, but because I have loved thee. It's more than one reason for us not to mix our holy seed. It's several different reasons, and we're gonna continue to bring it out throughout this lesson. All right, Hebrew. Turn to Exodus chapter 23 and read verses 32 and 33.
Exodus, what Hebrew said again? My phone went out.
Exodus 23,
All right.
32 through 33.
All right. And it reads, Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest thou make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee.
Okay, Bro Stephen. Ain't nobody getting down, bowing down to no graven images. Ain't nobody bowing down to no statues. No, in 2023, idol worship don't look like that no more. Idol worship look like homosexuality, lesbianism, transvestism, queerism, Christianity, Catholic Church, Baptist Church, Pentecostal Church, Lutheran. All of those are idol gods that are worshipped outside of the one and only true God. And women worship. You right, Brother Sly, because in 2023, everybody a dime now. I got a video that I'm gonna show, and I'm not weight bashing nobody or body bashing nobody, but it was a sister on there and she wasn't even cute. Bro, she weighed about 320 pounds. On there talking about, I used to care what people thought about me, and I used to rate myself as a 4. But in 2023, I look at myself and I know I'm a 10. That's because of women worship. They have caused our people to worship black women. And I don't mean to be offensive toward our sisters. We love y'all, but I'm going to speak the facts. In 2023, black women have been turned into an idol god. And they have done this to elevate y'all, to make y'all feel like your men are not worthy to be with you. And then y'all get out here and marry these other nations of people and they treat you like a dog.
Hey, Hebrew, to back you up about going into the other nations, serving their other gods, and taking on like us going into this Easter and Christmas Christmas worship. That's what you're talking about, right? Like stuff like that, right? When you were talking about it earlier.
Oh yeah, that's part of idol worship too.
All right, let me back you up with scripture though. Okay, I just want to make sure we on the same page. So Jeremiah 10, hear ye the word which the Lord hath spoke. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. So when you marry into these strange wives, going into the other nations, male and female Israelite, woman and man, going and marrying these other nations, see, you're gonna learn they ways. You're gonna pick up on their customs. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Verse 3 is what I want. For the customs of the people are vain. See, the Most High telling you that their customs, their way of life is vanity, it's vain. For one cutteth out the tree of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. So I'm just gonna stop right there. You get the idea. So that's another example for you that you can look at and show somebody else, hey, this is why you don't do it. Because you're going to pick up on their customs. You're going to go serve their gods. You're going to keep their what? Traditions over the Most High.
And
right,
if you're in the house with an Edomite man, hold on, Hebrew.
All right.
if you in the house with an Edomite man and he fire his grill up, right? You do know how that heathen gonna cook that meat, don't you? We are commanded not to eat blood. But when the heathen go out there and fire that grill up, that meat is gonna be rare. It's gonna be blood still running out of it. Then you gonna eat it, your children gonna eat it. But it won't matter about them eating it because they eat the mice anyway. But you gonna eat it as an Israelite. That's another form of idolatry. That's another sin. Because you gonna eat it. Why? Not because you like it. You gonna eat it because Esau like it. So you basically putting that man, Edomite man, before you put the Most High. And the Most High tell us not to even put man, or Israelite man, before you put him. So that's another way of falling into sin based upon being with the other nations of men and women. All right, Hebrew, let's go to Genesis. Genesis chapter 28, and we're going to look at verse 1 through 4. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Now, this is when Esau and Jacob had grown up. Esau was out to kill Jacob. But Esau had already chosen strange wives from among the Canaanites. And Isaac and his wife, they saw that. And they told Jacob, they said, listen, do not marry, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padoram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. So to start the lineage of the Israelites, starting with Jacob, with the 12 tribes, his parents told him, don't mix your seed with these other nations of people. Why? Because we just read that the Most High told them, do not marry these other nations of people. Do not give your daughters to their wives. Don't give your daughters to their sons, and don't give your sons to their daughters. And don't you marry. Now just think if Jacob would have went out there and married those women from those Canaanite people. He would have messed up the whole 12 tribes. He would have messed us up. But he kept the commandments of the Most High. He did what he was told to do. All right. We're going to go to the Apocrypha for a minute, Hebrew. Let's go to the book of Tobit, chapter 4, look at verse 12.
All right, hold on, let me get there. Can you hear me, Hebrew?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
All right.
I'll get it for you, Hebrew.
Yeah, please do, cuz.
All right.
Mercy. I gotta get it together.
Beware, my son, of every kind of fornication. First of all, marry a woman from amongst the descendants of your ancestors. Do not marry a foreign woman who is not of your father's tribe, for we are the descendants of prophets. Remember, my son, that Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our ancestors of old, all took wives from among their kindred. Did we not just read that? Did we not just read that in Genesis 28, 1 through 4?
That's right.
Okay. They were blessed, in their children, in their posterity will inherit the land. So now, my son, love your kindred, and in your heart do not disdain your kindred, the sons and daughter of your people, by refusing to take a wife for yourself from among them. For in pride there is ruin and great confusion, and in idleness there is loss and dire poverty. because idleness is the mother of famine. So we reading precept after precept after precept from the 66. Now we over here in the Apocrypha. Now let's go to 1 Ezra chapter 9.
And First Ezra chapter 9 gonna go in more insight into the Bible with Ezra chapter 10. It's gonna give you more clarity on what really went down. That's First Ezra, right, Hebrew?
That's right.
Yeah, that's First Ezra. First Ezra chapter 9 is gonna give you more insight of Ezra in the Bible.
Hold on 1 second, Hebrew. All right, First Ezra chapter 9.
All right. Then Esdras, rising from the court of the temple, went to the chamber of Jonan, the son of Elazeel, and remained there, and did not eat meat, nor drink water, mourning for the great iniquities of the multitude. And there was a proclamation in all of, it say Jewry in my book, Hebrew, but
Judea.
all Jerusalem. Yeah,
Judea and Jerusalem.
All right. And there was a proclamation in all Judea and Jerusalem to all them that were of the captivity, and that they should be gathered together at Jerusalem. And whatsoever met not there within 2 or 3 days, according as the elders that bear rule upon it, their cattle should be seized to the use of the temple, and himself cast from them that were of the captivity. And in 3 days were all they of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin gathered together at Jerusalem on the 20th day of the 9th month. And all the multitude sat trembling in the broad court of the temple because of the present foul weather. Just like we read in Ezra chapter 9 in the 66. All right, y'all, let's read. And all the multitude sat trembling in the broad court of the temple because of the present foul weather. So Ezra rose up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel. And now by confessing, give glory unto the Lord Yah of our fathers, and do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land and from the strange women. Then the multitude cried, then cried the whole multitude and said with a loud voice, like as thou hast spoken, so will we do. But for as much as the people are many, and it's foul weather, so that we cannot stand without, and this is not a work of a day or two, seeing our sin in these things is spread far. Therefore, let the rulers of the multitude stay, and let all them of our habitations that have strange wives come at the time appointed. Just like we read in what? Read in Ezra chapter 9. At that appointed time. All right, let's keep reading. And therefore, let the rulers of the multitude stay, and let all them of our habitations that have strange wives come at the appointed time, and with them the rulers and judges of every place, till we turn away the wrath of the Lord from us from this matter. Same thing, like it said in Ezra 9 and 14, the wrath of the Most High has come down on it. All right. Then Jonathan, the son of Azazel, and Ezachas, I think I'm saying it right, the son of Theocanus, accordingly
what verse you at, Hebrew?
Verse 14.
Jonathan and Asahel and Jaziah and Tikvah.
Yeah, yours read different from mine. Okay, according took this matter upon them, and Moshelim and Levis and Sabbathias helped them, and they that were of the captivity did according to all these things. And Esdras, the priest, chose unto him the principal men of their families, all by name. And in the first day of the 10th month, they sat together to examine the matter. So their cause that held strange wives. Let me start over. So their cause that held strange wives was brought to an end in the first day of the first month, and other priests that were come together had strange wives were found of the sons of Jesus, the son of Josedek, and his brother Matthias, and Eleazar, and Jorabus, and
J-Rup.
Jonathan. Okay, and
J-Rup
what yours
and
say?
Jodan. J-Rup and
Okay.
Jodan.
You know me, you got two different apocryphals. Mine got this, yeah. So yours say Jodan, all right. And they gave their hands to put, and they gave their hands to put away their wives and to offer rams to make reconciliation. Say that word for me, Hebrew.
Mine say exploitation.
Exploitation. Reconciliation.
Expulsion.
Yeah.
Of
Mine
their
say
errors.
reconciliation for their errors. So
Okay.
anyway, they saying they're gonna reconcile for their errors. But it say reconciliation. That's what it say. All right, what you want me to keep reading to, Hebrew?
You good right there.
All
But
right.
right now, it ain't nothing but a whole bunch of names. You just finna go into a bunch of names. Okay, now I'm gonna go to a book called The Jew, a Negro. The Jew, a Negro. What's your question, Brother Sly? The Jew, a Negro. This is the name of the book that I'm about to go into, family. The book is written by Talmud Abernathy. Talmud Abernathy. Or Tamaj Abernathy. Ask your question, Brother Sly. I'm gonna start on page 67. It's called The Jew, a Negro. I'm starting on page 67. Makeda, for according to them, that was her name, receiving an account of Tamarine, an Ethiopian merchant, took a journey to Jerusalem to know the truth of this report. She was attended by a great train of her prime nobility and carried with her a variety of most magnificent presents. This lady that we're talking about, Judah is the Most High battle axe, Brother Sly. Yeah, we the Most High battle axe now.
Yeah, he said he's gonna break nations into pieces with us. So he's gonna use us to break nations into pieces. So yeah, Judah will eventually war with Esau and the heathens. You
Yes,
can back
sir.
that up with Joel 3. You can back that up with Joel 3. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And Isaiah.
All right, here we go. So where we at right now, we gonna transition from here, bro, Mikael.
All right.
We gonna transition from here, and we gonna bring out that scripture about Solomon that you was wanting to talk about earlier. Now, in this book, the Jew, a Negro, is speaking of the Queen of Sheba. The one that went up there, she heard about King Solomon and she had to go see for herself. Right? In this book, her name is Makeda. For according to them, that was her name. Receiving an account of Tamarine, an Ethiopian merchant, took a journey to Jerusalem to know the truth of this report. She want to go check and see if what they saying about King Solomon is really the truth. She was attended by a great train of her prime nobility and carried with her a variety of most magnificent presents. After she had been instructed at Jerusalem in the worship of the true God, she returned home and within the space of a year brought forth a son begotten by Solomon. So listen, Hebrew. Now we know King Solomon took up on a bunch of strange wives. Right?
Right.
He had sex with a bunch of strange women. Okay. So now they saying that when Sheba went up there, she got pregnant by Solomon. She was so intrigued by his kingdom and by his wisdom, he knocked her down. That's what they saying. Who named him David. But he was called by his mother and her subjects Manelech or Manelihek, that is another self. He received his education at Solomon's court and was accompanied home by many doctors of the law and Israelites of distinction
particularity. Azariah, the son of Zadok, the high priest, by the assistance of these Hebrew attendants, he established the religion professed by his father in Ethiopia, where it continued until the kingdom embraced Christianity. The Arabs and Abyssines have given the princes above mentioned several names, as Makeda, Melkis, or Bulkis, Queen of the South, as we find her styled by our Savior, an Ethiopic version. The Abyssines pretend that their kings are descended in a right line from Menelik, and even most of the noble families in the part of Ethiopia at this day trace their respective pedigrees up to Solomon. I did research on this, Hebrew. And up until just a couple of years ago, every king of that African country where she was from had a bloodline descendant that traced back to Solomon. Up until just recently, like the last 10 years. So there's some validity to this story. I've researched. All right. This then seems to have been the prevailing sin of the Jew, intermarriage. As early as Ezra's time, 400 BC, he was forced by the appearance of so many degenerates, mongrels, and the like among the Jews to set about the execution of a drastic edict, peremptorily divorcing as many of the offenders as he could, secure both from their wives and families. Did we not read that just now?
Yes, sir.
Did we not just read that, Hebrew?
Yes, sir. Bring it out, Hebrew.
Here we find the Jews marrying Egyptians, Moabites, Samaritans, Ammonites, and those strange nationalities which had immigrated across from Ethiopia, allured by the inviting opportunities for acquisition and conquest, afforded by a closer contact with the Egyptian people. This revolution on the part of Ezra was nothing less than a farce. However, for the people, gave their hands to put away such wives. But the story ends. We just read in Ezra 10, verse 19, with an acknowledgement that some of them already had children by these strange wives, and even the putting away of them could not destroy the fact of the existence of those already begotten mongrel descendees. Besides, it is hardly to be expected that the mere formality of giving their hands would esteem an inviolable oath by the Jews, who had so flagrantly misused the truth and personal obligation in their past history. Let's go to the book of Hosea. Go to Hosea chapter 10 and verse 4, Hebrew.
All right. Hosea chapter 4 and what verse?
Hosea 10 and 4.
Oh, 10 and 4. Okay. All right, Hosea 10 and 4. They have spoken words, swearing falsely and making a covenant. Thus judgment springeth up as a hemlock in the furrows of the field.
Okay. If there be any doubt as to the fertility of Ezra's efforts to stop this interwedlock abuse of the Jews, it is dispelled a little later by the marriage of Esther, a Jewess, to Ashtarothus, king from India, even to Ethiopia, as a mention in the preface. So the history of our people has been documented, Hebrew, by these people.
That's right. Uh-huh.
So it's nothing new that our people have been mingling the holy seed amongst these other nations of people, which is forbidden by the Most High. All right. Now, Hebrew, let's go to Exodus chapter 23.
Uh-oh. Hey, Brother Sly. You think you done hung us up, don't you? I got you. Hold on, Hebrew. We got you. Exodus 23.
Yeah, but I'm gonna deal with this lesson first before we touch that.
Yeah, we gonna get that.
I seen it
All
on
right.
there. Yeah, I seen it on there, but I'm gonna deal with this lesson
Yeah.
first. Exodus 23, and we're gonna do 32 through 33.
All right, 32 through 33. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. Thou shalt not dwell. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee.
Okay. Now let's do this, Hebrew.
You
It's
good,
finna
brother
get
Scott.
good
Go
now.
ahead.
It's finna get
Yeah,
good
getting
now.
good. Let's get it.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6, Hebrew. No, bro, Sly, we ain't taking no offense to it, bro. You good. We're gonna bring it out. Let us get finished with this lesson. We'll talk about it.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. That's what you want, bro?
Yes, sir.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Okay, so the Most High chose us to be a holy people unto himself. Reason being for him to want us to only mingle our seed amongst ourselves. Because when we start mingling our seed with these other nations of people, it taints the Israelite bloodline. And you start throwing these heathen nations in the mix. And sadly to say, y'all having these Edomite children, they going into captivity. Your children, by these other nations of people, are going into captivity. So while you out here think you really doing something special with your white woman, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Kanye West.
That dude that got in trouble with that white girl, Jonathan Majors. yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, y'all think y'all doing something, but them kids y'all making, they going into captivity. To our sisters that's out here having these children by these Edomites. They going into captivity. No, let me correct myself. For these Israelite brothers that's having babies with these Edomite women, those babies are technically Israelites because the lineage comes from the father. But when those children grow up and they've been raised by a white father or a white mother, they have a tendency to go back white again. And when they do that, they going into captivity. So let me straighten that out. I stand corrected on what I say. I'm correcting myself. All right, Hebrew. Deuteronomy 14 and verse 2.
Deuteronomy 14 and 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the earth.
All right, Hebrew. Now let's go to the verse that you wanted to bring out. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9.
All right.
I'm going to let you break this one down.
All right. I'm turning pages, Hebrew. 1 Peter what? 2 and 9. And it reads, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praise of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. So while we read that, did you not hear that we are a royal priesthood? Our blood shouldn't be mixed with other nations because we're royalty. The same blood that's flowing through our veins right now, is the same blood that was flowing through Christ's vein when he was on the earth. And that's why we read those other scriptures in the Old Testament showing you where Peter pulled this from. It's not just the Levites that's a royal priesthood, that's the priest. It's the whole house of Israel that's a royal priesthood. That's what you got to understand. All right, Hebrew.
All right, precept that Hebrew with Exodus 19, 5 through 10.
All right, and this is where he pulled it from, Exodus 19. All right, Exodus 19 and what, bro?
5 through 10.
5 through 10, and it reads, Now therefore, if you obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. See that? A kingdom of priests and holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid upon their, and Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded thee. And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. All right, Hebrew.
All right, did you go to 10?
Oh, I'm sorry. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
All right. All praise to the Most High.
So you see what Peter pulled it from right out of Deuteronomy chapter 19, 5 through 10. We are a royal priest, the whole house of Israel. We are a peculiar treasure above all people. We are a what? A kingdom of priests. All right, Hebrew, let's go.
A royal nation.
Yeah, a royal priesthood. And you know what, Hebrew, was funny? You remember we was talking when you called me, and we was talking about the third and fourth generation and all that, right?
That's right.
And like, you know, we said we can't leave no loopholes, right?
Right.
That Deuteronomy 21.
23, 1 through 8.
All right. Yeah. That's where we going.
Deuteronomy 23, 1 through 8.
All right. Pay attention, Brother Sly. Pay attention. Did I tell you, Hebrew? Did I tell you? Did I told you? Yeah, go to Deuteronomy 23. And we're going to read what, Hebrew?
1 through 8.
What?
1 through 8.
All right. He that is wounded in the stones, or had his privy members cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, meaning your penis. All right. A bastard, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Now, you remember, Brother Sly, we was talking about those nations, right? But listen to the nations that the Lord permitted. Watch this. An Amorite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. But wait a minute. Where did those nations come from? They came from Lot and his girls, right, Hebrew? The
That's
Ammonites,
right. That's right.
And the Moabites. See, pay attention, Slide. It's a bloodline thing here. All right? An Amorite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when you came forth out of Egypt. And because they hired against Balaam, the son of Beor, and phone call, bro.
Okay. Now, right there, I want to go back to Deuteronomy 23 and verse 2, where it talked about the bastard. Where it talked about the bastard right there in verse 2. Let's look at that thing. And I'm going to read the Strong's Concordance, the definition of a bastard. Right there in that verse 2. from an unseen root men to alienate a mongrel that is born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother is a bastard. And I corrected myself a minute ago, and I wanted to bring this out to show that I was correct the first time that I said it. Based upon the scripture that we dealing with, right there in verse 2, Brother Sly, it says, I'm going to read that verse 2 one more time for you. Verse 2 says, thou shalt not follow a multitude. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to. No, I'm in the wrong. I'm in Exodus. Hold on, bro. I'm in Exodus. Deuteronomy 23 and verse 2. Deuteronomy 23 and 2. Deuteronomy 23 verse 2. And it reads, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. So when an Israelite man have a child by a non-Israelite woman, they have to be bred unto the 10th generation in order to be capable of entering into the kingdom of the Most High.
The congregation of the Lord.
Congregation of the Lord, into the congregation of the Lord. Because right here in the definition in the Strong's Concordance, it says, from an unseen root to alienate a mongrel that is born of a Jew father and a heathen mother equals a bastard. So, if an Israelite man have children or marry a non-Israelite woman up into the 10th generation, they cannot enter into the congregation of the Lord. To answer your question, Brother Sly. So after the 10th generation, as long as they breed back to Israelite men with that same offspring, bam. Okay, you got yourself an Israelite. Now they can enter into the congregation of the Lord. Or even if it's a girl, she got to come back to an Israelite man.
Listen to this, Hebrew. Deuteronomy 23 and 7. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. Why? That's a Shemitic stock. Well, that's a Hamite stock, but Edom, you can't hate Edom because Edom is what? Jacob's brother. What the law say? Thou shalt not hate thy brother. So that's right. What abhor mean, not abhor, don't hate. So, right. Okay. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian. Why? They from what? They from this land to see the Ham, but we was in their land. They gave us grace. They gave us the land of what? They gave us what? What was that land? Goshen.
That's right.
We was a stranger in their land. Through Joseph, we got favor. You see what I'm saying?
Mike,
so the Most High showing favor him.
Go back to verse 3, Mike. Go back to verse 3.
All right. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever.
Okay, the Moabite, Chinese, go ahead.
Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way. And when you came forth,
Israelites.
That's right. And when you came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor, or Pethor, and Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God will not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity all thy days forever.
So don't envy the things that they have. Because if you look at the world now, Moab is now the most powerful nation on the earth right now,
Uh-huh.
economically.
Mhm.
Now, militarily, it's still the United States. But economically, Moab got the upper hand on everybody.
Uh-huh. They got the biggest economy, don't they?
That's right. And they got the biggest army man-wise.
All
They
right.
just don't have the best technology right now.
So when you read verse 7, like we just read, now you go to verse 8, brothers and sisters. The children that are begotten of them, who? The Edomite and the Egyptians. Listen, the children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. When the
So-
host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from it. Okay, go ahead, Hebrew. Go ahead.
So they got to be bred back to an Israelite to the third generation.
Uh-huh.
But when it come down to the other nations, it's 10.
Uh-huh.
All right, Hebrew. Let's look at
I hope that answer Deuteronomy 21 for you, Brother Sly.
2 Chronicles chapter 19 and verse 2, Hebrew.
Second Chronicles 19 and what? 23? No, what you say?
19 and 2.
2, okay. And Jeshu, the son of Hanani. Okay. And Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him and said to the king Jehoshaphat, shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate the Lord? Therefore is the wrath upon thee from before the Lord. Verse 3, Hebrew.
Was that 19?
What you say, Second Chronicles 19?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 11 verses. Second Chronicles.
It was the reason why I wanted that brought out. Hold on for a second.
All right.
Oh yeah, I know why I wanted that brought out.
All right.
To show the reason why we should marry into the other nations. Because this is what they do to us. And Jehu, the son of Hananiah, the seer, went out to meet him and said to King Jehoshaphat, shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate the Lord? Therefore is wrath upon thee from before the Lord. So when we mingle with these other nations of people, like they talking about right here, they cause us to go after other gods. And I precept that right there, Hebrew, with Judges chapter 16.
All right. Go to Judges 16.
Yeah, 16 started verse 4.
Judges 16 started verse 4. All right. Come on, pages. All right, verse 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
Now, ho. Now, this is going to show what marrying into these other women, mingling with these other women, what it'll get you, man. It'll get you killed. Go ahead, Hebrew.
All right. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said,
we're talking about Samson. Go ahead.
See, that's what I'm saying. They setting up traps. They use their women to set traps for us.
That's what, they still doing it today. Hey, go ahead, keep reading that. I'm finna find this video. Go ahead.
And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said unto her, if thou bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs as a thread of a tow is broken with when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not unknown. So he tricked her. That right there should have told him not to keep messing with this woman. When he tricked her and she went back and told her brethren of her stock, of her nation, okay, just go get these green things and I'm going to bind them with it. And when I bind them with it, y'all come on in. That right there should have told you this woman is against you. But let's keep going. This is what happened, brothers, when we think with the other head. Then the lords of the Philistines brought unto her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not and his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound with him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. So she set him up again. Strike 2. So basically, when you think Samson thinking with the other head, he thinking he can win her over. He think he can get her to go against her kindred. He think if I just keep romancing her and dining her and buying her stuff, I'll win her over.
Scripture.
Go ahead, Hebrew. That's my bad. Go ahead.
All right. So where you want me to start reading that, Hebrew? Keep reading. Where you want me to stop?
We're gonna stop at hold on one second. We're gonna stop at $21.
All right. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou wavest the 7 locks of my head with the wheel. He done told the secret, Hebrew. He done told it. If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the wheel. And she fastened it with the pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaketh out of the sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say I love thee when thine heart is not with me?
Hey, she steady tricking him, bro.
Hey, she putting that game on him now. I thought you loved me. But at the last 2 times when he done tricked her, and she done turned her folks on her, that should have told you something then about this woman.
But that don't show you, man. Listen, that angelic white woman just do something to a nigga. They look at that white woman as the purest image of anything they ever seen in their life. She just can't do no wrong. And she done set the nigga up twice already.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
See, this is something you didn't see. You probably didn't see. She hit him with the love word. What make a Negro weak and docile in America? We gotta love our enemies. I forgive you for killing my son. I forgive you. You got to love people. See what I'm talking about? See, it happened back then.
Put that microphone in face. Do you forgive him for molesting your 3-year-old daughter? Yeah, I'm a Christian. You know, the Lord said
I gotta love him.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to love my enemy. I got to love my enemy.
Do
See,
you
I'm gonna
forgive
read
him
that
for
again.
mutilating and cutting your 3 sons and your grandbaby's head off, and then devoling them and cutting off their genitals? Oh yeah,
I
you
forgive
know,
him because I
we
love
gotta
him,
love
and I gotta
everybody.
forgive him. Christ
Hey,
told us to love everybody.
I don't even want him to go to jail.
Now listen to this, Hebrew, verse 15. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and
3
hast
times.
told me and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lies. And it came to pass when she passed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. So she kept harassing him with the love. Don't you love me?
But wait a
I
minute,
done
Mike.
let
Wait a
you.
minute. Is this not what modern women do? They tear your
Yeah.
self-esteem down. You ain't shit. You don't do this. You don't do that. You ain't no real man. You pay every bill except for the water bill. Yeah, a real man pay the water bill too. But damn, I ain't got but $2 left out my check.
You ain't what's that modern word they use on us, Hebrew? You ain't nothing but a F nigga.
Yeah.
Can I say it? No, I ain't gonna say it. You ain't nothing but a F nigga.
Hey, hold on right there, Hebrew. Let me play this. Hold on.
All right.
Minors in African American Studies and Women's Studies. My project is titled Weaponizing White Women's Femininity, Accusations Against Black Men.
Fair use.
For my project, I use critical race theory and white fragility as my theoretical framework to analyze 5 cases, which will be discussed further on the next slide. Critical race theory examines how race, a socially constructed idea, has an impact on culture and institutions. It traces racism from slavery through the civil rights movement to present day. Scholars attempt to confront the ideas and actions that enable racism while also challenging practices to confront systemic racism. Critical race theory also draws attention to those who perpetrate and are seemingly not impacted by racial prejudice. White fragility is the defensiveness from white people when their ideas about race and racism are challenged. Society is set up in such a way that white people are not often forced to think about race and the discomfort that is often associated. According to an article in The New Yorker, white people lack the racial stamina to have these difficult conversations. Other white people, even when knowing the behavior is wrong, will avoid correcting white peers in order to maintain the peace. This, as my slide says, results in white fragility holding racism in place. For my project, I examined 5 cases that I separated into 3 different categories. The first category is Black men were blamed for a crime they did not commit. The second is white women committed a crime but blamed a black man. And lastly, white women using fear and aggression against a black man. First group, I used cases that ended up in court where 1 or more black males were accused of a crime against a white woman. The first case I will be looking at is that of the Scottsboro Boys. On March 25, 1931, in Jackson County, Alabama, a fight broke out on the Southern Railroad freight train. The fight was between a group of white men and 9 teenage boys. When the white group was taken off the train, they blamed the whole thing on the black teens. At the same time, 2 white women, Ruby Bates and Victoria Price, were worried about charges related to prostitution. In order to save themselves, they put more blame on the black teens. They accused them of rape. So who were these teens? A group known as the Scottsboro Boys is a group of 9 black youth ranging from 13 to 19. Their names are Charlie Weems, Ozzie Powell, Clarence Norris, Andrew and Leroy Wright, Olin Montgomery, Willie Robinson, Haywood Patterson, and Eugene Williams. Before their arrest, only 4 of the boys knew each other. Their initial trial was in April of 1931. At this time, an all-white jury sentenced 8 of them to death. The 9th, 13-year-old Leroy Wright, resulted in a hung jury where 1 juror favored life in prison over the death sentence. He remained in prison until 1937. In March 1932, the Alabama Supreme Court upheld 7 of the convictions, but granted a new trial to Eugene Williams as he was a minor. In November of 1932, in Powell v. Alabama, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled the defendants have been denied the right to counsel, which is a 14th Amendment violation. In January 1935, in Norris v. Alabama, it was ruled that systematic exclusion of black people on Jackson County jury rolls denied them a fair trial. In this case, there were 2 Supreme Court decisions successfully arguing that the system was perpetrating discrimination against these teens. In Norris versus Alabama, specifically acknowledging the racial discrimination experienced. When looking at this case through the lens of whiteness, we must look at Ruby Bates. She's one of the women who accused them of rape. During the second
Everyone needs to have this tool to protect their home and their loved ones. Everyone needs to have this tool to protect their home and their loved ones. This new military flashlight is basically a high-tech baseball bat, but be warned, this $600 flashlight is not a toy. It's so strong that it can smash through anything. It even has a hidden knife, making it the perfect survival tool. And the flashlight projects an incredibly powerful beam of light.
Oh Lord, he trying to buy that knife.
Hold on, Hebrew. You know I ain't good at this.
Hey, you good. You doing better than me and Warrior.
Hold on.
You trying to buy that knife, ain't you?
Huh?
Doing good, Hebrew. Doing good. Take your time.
All right, just give me a sec.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm with you. Praise him. I'm looking so. I'm so looking forward to the wilderness. I'm trying to tell you. Oh, I'll be glad when all this over.
We stayed together for probably till she was about 2, and then I would say a lot of our problems with me and her dad had to deal with race. I mean, a lot of it. And we ended up separating. So, but he, he's still a part of his daughter's life, and but not as much as I would like for him to be, though. And I am concerned about that because I want her to know her African-American side. I want her to know her roots, her history. And for that, she needs her father to be in her life, but he's like I said, not as much as I would like for him to. So but she's 8 now, and she's already facing some challenges and I'm learning things. Raising a biracial daughter, especially girls, I didn't realize that there was so much issues with self-image with young Black girls, and she's already had kids bully her about skin color and her hair and different things. And wow, these were some challenges that I just was not prepared for. But, we're dealing with them. Luckily, I have a lot of friends who I can talk to and confide in. And, they help me with those issues. So, but talk about a challenge. I've learned so much. I've been faced with so many things with my biracial daughter that I did not have those same issues, with my oldest daughter who has a Caucasian father. So.
Okay. So you said race became an issue. Could you explain to me why race became an issue?
Well, yeah, it just seemed like almost, I wouldn't necessarily say on a daily basis, but quite often things would come up more than they should. I mean, just things like, something would come up missing, and then I'd question everybody in that house about it. But when I would ask, my daughter's father, he would say, "Oh, I see how it is. Blame the Black guy." And I was like, "No, that's not where I'm coming from." So just silly things like that. So to me, in my view, it's innocent, but to him, he's thinking it's like a racial issue because he thinks I'm blaming him because he's Black. I mean, I know that's crazy, but obviously it was, important to him for him to bring it up. So, and then things like, just getting him to take on some responsibilities around the house. He would actually tell me, I'm not a house Negro.
Here we go.
You
Here we
do
go.
it yourself.
Here we go.
He would just come right out, and that's what he would say. And I was like, well, I'm not trying to make you feel like that. I don't want you to think I'm trying to be your boss, That's just part of being, having a house and taking care of responsibilities. So,
Now black men lazy.
Yeah,
now.
definitely
We lazy.
some things that I never could have imagined. I never could have predicted that those statements would have ever come up. So
you mentioned the terms that he was using. Why would it sound like to me that he felt that he was quote unquote pro-black?
he definitely is. He is he way before I met him. He grew up in Los Angeles. I think he was involved with some gangs at one point. I don't know how in depth that was, but then he ended up finding the Nation of Islam and completely turned his life around. You know, whatever bad things he was doing, he was no longer doing it once he became involved with the Nation. And you know, they teach young black men how to be responsible, how to do good for the community. I mean, there's so many positive things that the NOI teaches young men. They can pretty much help them completely turn their lives around. So I was, you know, all for understanding exactly what he experienced as a teenager growing up in Los Angeles. But I think, you know, there's a point of taking it to the extreme. And you know, there's always good things from positive influences. You can learn good things about it, but when you take it to the extreme and then get to the point where you live, eat, and breathe those values to the extreme, it can cause interference. It can cause interference with your relationships, with your job. And he's actually been fired from quite a few jobs because if he has a white supervisor and same scenario, if he feels like he's being disrespected, he's just going to pop off and go off and tell the man what he thinks. So he's actually lost quite a few jobs over his extreme views.
Well, you say extreme. He couldn't be too extreme, because if he was actually following what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, then he wouldn't have dated you.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. I think what happened was at a point, I want to say probably maybe around 2007 or 2008, Minister Farrakhan actually had an interview. I think it was on TV One or BET, I'm not sure, but Minister Farrakhan approached those issues and he said, you know, the times that we're in, he said, I can no longer, he said, it seems like I can't really control interracial dating. You see it everywhere. It's all over the place. He said, all I can really do, I can't say that I accept it, but I think I have to understand that we're living.
So Minister Farrakhan had never, ever, to my knowledge now, I have never heard Minister Farrakhan tell nobody I ain't never heard him tell no black man to marry no white woman. What about you, Hebrew? Bro, Mikael.
I ain't never heard him say it, Hebrew.
I ain't never heard him say it either. All right. You can finish bringing that script out, Hebrew. So the white woman said that a white woman should never have children with a black man. And to that I got to agree with her.
But see, how can I say this? See, it's a fantasy. She was dealing with him based on a fantasy. She was dealing with him based on she wanted the BBC experience. You get what I'm saying?
She wanted that black baby experience too.
But she got pregnant. I don't think she wanted to get pregnant. I think she got a hold of something she couldn't handle. She got sprung, and you know, it is what it is.
Well, let me say this. Now, you know I'm an umpire, basketball official, football. I was calling some games the other day, softball. Saw a Caucasian lady. The whole stadium was all white. It was one Caucasian lady, and she was a lesbian. She had her girlfriend, or boyfriend, or whatever with her. She had one child, and it was a mixed child. The little girl was better than everybody on the field. It made her so proud that this little girl was a good athlete. And in my thinking, and being woke and being in the truth, I know why she had that little girl. She had that little girl by a black person so that she could be a good athlete, and so she would be able to brag about her daughter when it came down to stuff like that. I'm telling you, Hebrew, these white women have children by us because they want athletes. You ain't got to believe me. You ain't got to.
Hey, look at Patrick Mahomes.
I'm telling you, Hebrew, they want our genetics. They don't want us.
They want that. They want that holy seed. But Hebrew, think about it. If you think Brother Stephen lying, what was that movie called with Sandra Bullock in it? It had that Ole Miss player in there when they got that black kid. You know why they went and got it? They didn't get him out of poverty and out of Memphis for nothing. They got him out of there because he was a football player. He was going pro, and they were going to get some of that money. That's what they were. You got a lot of white people right now going to get black kids, adopting black kids for that very same reason, for athletics.
And another reason why is so they can turn them gay. You got a lot of black people like Angela Jolie that's adopting all these black kids, and everyone that she adopts, she turn them either into a homosexual or a lesbian.
That's it, Hebrew. Hebrew, I gotta step out right quick. Let me get this right quick.
All right. I only got a couple more scripts anyway. All right, family. What verse did you stop at, Hebrew, in Judges?
I was at verse 15.
Okay. Verse 15. And he found the jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand and took it and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps up heaps with the jaw of an ass, have I slain 1,000 men. And it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand and called that place Ramoth Lehi. And he was sore at thirst, and called on the Lord and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised. I'm in the wrong chapter, y'all. I'm supposed to be in 16. All right. And she fastened it with the pen, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pen of the beam and with the well. And she said unto him, How canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and have told me wherewith thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There had not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her of his heart, she sent and called for his lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he had shown me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came unto her and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before, and shake myself. And he wished not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass. And he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered themselves, gathered together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice. So he revealed to this Philistine woman, which was African. This was an African woman. And we all know that they dabble in all types of witchcraft, all type of black magic art, and all of this stuff. There ain't no telling what kind of spell she was working with to call this brother to be so weak to her. Or it might have just been some sexual things she was doing to him. I don't know.
Hebrew. Let me tell you something. It's one of them lost books that them strange women were driving no Israelite men crazy. They were giving them oral sex. The Israelite woman, they were too slow. They didn't know nothing about that oral sex. But them other strange women were putting oral sex on them brothers, and they were going crazy over them strange women. I can't think what lost book that was, Hebrew. But
I remember that book.
You remember that?
Book. Yeah,
you remember
I remember
that?
we read it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing oral sex on them brothers. They were driving them crazy. They ain't never had that before. But I'm saying this to say this, brothers and sisters. They only see you and view you as a sex toy. Both Israelite man and Israelite woman. Black man and black. That's all you are to the other nation. And back to the sports thing, Hebrew. You was good in football, Willie, right? You was a football star, right?
Right.
I was in basketball and football. So I'm speaking on the experience. And when I say what I say, you come in on it. All right. I get through.
All right.
Listen, y'all. I was good in basketball and football. Had a scholarship to Ole Miss or whatever. But I noticed when I got out of the 8th grade, going into the high school 9th grade, all these white people I didn't really know personally, but I knew of them because it's a small town. They was talking to me. They wanted to be my friend. Come over to my house. Let me cook you a steak. I mean, we was getting special privileges. Did you experience that, Brother Steph?
I did.
And you know, after the game, before the games, I'm talking about they'll take you to the on Saturday, they'll take you to Ole Miss or Mississippi State games and take you hunting and fishing and things we ain't never did.
Buy your shoes and clothes.
Yeah. So I'm saying something here, brother and sister. Follow me now. But when I became a senior and I lost that scholarship because of my grades, and I lost that scholarship, and when football season over with, I noticed how the white people that love football so much, they didn't talk to me as much. They separated themselves from me. I didn't get no more phone calls. Then when basketball season over with, and we didn't go to state and win it, they stopped talking to me. But then I was still in high school going to school. I'm telling you something that hit me in my ass. The taste of the real world hit me in my ass after basketball season. All right, y'all ready? That's when I knew then that these people only use you for your gifts.
That's it.
Oh, and it's sad that a young man in high school, that I had to taste it in my mouth. What were these so-called friends that I was going over to their sleepover? Where they at now? Now, brother, did you experience that?
I did. I experienced a lot of it, bro. Like, I remember, man, I would go over to their house, man. Their mom and daddy would cook for me. I would stay all night with them. Even had a few mamas try to come on to me a few times when the daddy wasn't around. You know, in high school, all the white girls throw themselves at you. They want to lay up with you, trying to get pregnant by you. So they can have a black baby that's going to be an athlete, Hebrew. That's the reason why I said what I said. They only want our babies because of their athletic abilities. And now it's done even went to the point to where now they done become so devious, they want our babies to turn them into homosexuals and lesbians to stop us from procreating.
Mm-hmm.
But Hebrew, this gonna have to be a part 2 to this lesson, bro.
All right. Yeah,
It's
because we
gonna have
still
to be
got
a
some more
part
to
two,
clip.
family.
Yeah, I was looking at the time. I said, boy, it's going to have to be a part 2.
Yeah, because we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 more scriptures, Hebrew.
Wow.
So it's gonna have to be a part 2. Hey, family, we enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed it. I hope y'all were edified. The Most High was glorified.
All right, hey, brothers and sisters, Brother Sly, look at your Deuteronomy chapter 21 and go over there and compare it to Deuteronomy. What was that what we read out of about the third and fourth generation Hebrew?
Deuteronomy 23, 1 through 8.
All right. Notice in Deuteronomy 21 and them other chapters we read before Deuteronomy 21, Most High gave a list of those nations not to intermix with. Right? You see that, right? But what was the difference between us going over there, whooping them and taking them out the land versus us being in captivity? You see the difference? You see the difference? We wasn't in captivity going into the land, taking the land back from the Jebusites and the Hittites and all of them ites.
Philistines and all that.
Yeah. See, we wasn't in captivity. We was a nation going to get the land. That's why you don't marry and do this and do that, because the Most High wanted us to himself. But in captivity, you notice, that was in a captivity situation. But you read Deuteronomy 21, he said when you go fight, but listen who we were fighting against, though.
Destroy them all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like those ites, don't mix with them. But every time we go conquer a nation, and he said you see a fair woman that they stop, and you desire her to be her wife, it was protocol and steps to that, but they couldn't be of those other. If they wasn't a part of those nations that he said destroy off the face of the earth, you can't marry them. Can't deal with them. But I know it's a double jeopardy, but I don't know why the Most High put it that way, but Deuteronomy 21 and Deuteronomy 22, that's why he gets in back and making the bloodline pure again to the third and fourth generation. You get what I'm saying?
We're going to get into that in part 2. That's in Joel.
That's it. That was in Joel talking about. But anyway, Hebrew, before we go, tell them, Hebrew, when we were putting this lesson together, didn't I not say that was going to come up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
You said it.
I don't want to confuse nobody, but look at those. When we read, we got to slow down, and when we study, we got to slow down and read and see. To see, he lists those nations. You better not breed with them folks. Don't do that.
All right, Hebrew, we're going to get up out of here, family. Hey, we love y'all. All praise to the Most High. We appreciate y'all tuning in once again. And with that, we bid y'all a shalom.
All right.
Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty.
Yeah. Crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gonna die. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gonna die. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gonna die. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gonna die.
It brings tears to my eyes to watch my people suffer. Then I sit back and watch all these other nations buffer. Then I reflect on Deuteronomy 28 curses. It's apparent why Israel got lacking hearses. I've been witnessing so much hurt and pain through the lens of these eyes.
that cloud with that sword to destroy this world with fire. Yeah, they all gon' die. They all gon' die. In that day, they all gon' cry. They all gon' cry. Yeah, plus they all gon' lie. Trying to die, but they can't. Why the Messiah going hard in their hands like LeBron in the paint? Those who led into captivity shall also go. And those of us who at the bottom won't have to mourn no more. Will be the tail no more. I feel the shell no more. Cause those of us that kept commandments, yeah, we all gon' go. Yeah, it's all gon' show who really love the Lord. Because those of us that do it to the end will get a just reward. Yeah, it's a just reward for them to die by the sword. For the inhumane treatment of the people that the Most High do it. Yeah, crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gon' die. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gon' die. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. When you crack that sky. Yeah, they all gon' die. When you crack that sky.
Yeah, they gon' die.
Crack that sky. Yeah, they all gon' die.
Brother Amos, we're gonna call you in a minute. I gotta upload these tracks on the platform, Hebrew. Give me time. I'm gonna get it together.
I'm gonna rise again. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much.
These songs are by Brother Stephen. This is Brother Stephen on the track.
And now hold me down. Place my feet back on this solid ground. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but it comes through in the clutch. Just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on that solid ground. Look at me now, bro. I've been through so much, but I bound back like rubber bands and such. No more dope for me. He redeemed and set me free. I'm on a natural high, like birds in the highest tree. I'm with blood, the red is the red blood. I don't need my book, it's why I got my own plug, and it keep me full of supply. I'm talking at all time. I just open a shoot and weigh it line for line, precept on precept. That's how I read the book. It's
precepts on precepts,
cause I was instantly hooked. I was instantly sprung. It's like a two-way sword that cuts going to and from that can't be ignored. Music to my ear, water to my soul, in which you wash with tears. No more sin for me, no more hurt and pain. And if I die to him, that mean I die to gain. Then I'm gonna rise again to stand up with my cane. Yo, cane, I'm talking about the king of Cain. I ain't much, yo, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but it come through in the clutch. Just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on that solid ground. I ain't much, but I'm blessed though. We've been through so much, but it come through in the clutch. Just to pick me up and to hold me down. Place my feet back on that solid ground. I'm posted up like a light pole, sucking knowledge like a light bulb. Faith the return of Christ, so when he comes back, I know where I'm gonna go. Anybody coming to America, bro. Sit back and watch my soul glow. All praise out of dynasty, and every day I turn around and do it all again. So when your high return for the house of Israel, yeah, all praise to the Most High. Know that my soul gonna rise again. I ain't much, yo, but I'm blessed though.
All praises to the Most High, y'all. With that, we bid y'all a shalom, family.